Willa, congrats on Strange Darling. You're phenomenal in this, and we see this kind of madcap energy to your character that you capture so well. And you really build off Kyle Gallner's intensity throughout. Since so much of the film is you two, how is it kind of figuring out that interplay based on each other? Because it really feels like you're both building off each other's performance so well.
Yeah, I mean, I think that is well said. I think that we both got very lucky in the fact that we liked each other a lot, had a good dynamic both on screen and off screen. And I think it's always just really helpful and a real joy when you kind of have a natural chemistry with someone who you're working with. And I think it just kind of gave us a pretty easy foundation from which to spring into the crazier stuff that happens in the movie. And I'm very grateful that I got to go on this ride with Kyle because I think he's a fabulous actor and a really great person, which is kind of, what more can you ask for?
Yeah, it's really a wonderful dynamic, and this film's presented out of order, and films are normally shot out of order too. So, but I was just curious if you had to kind of think about exactly where you were a bit more than normal, just because so much of the fun watching it, at least, is kind of figuring out where each part fits and how it all goes in. So, did that impact your performance any?
I mean, in some ways, I actually think that shooting this film, the order was kind of less confusing than sometimes because there's quite a it's quite a tight amount of time that the story takes place in, and there is a chronological version, like you can make it in order. And I certainly spent a lot of time with the script in order to understand the emotional arc and the physical arc of the character. And I think that I don't know. I think that in some ways, because there's such kind of like distinct moments of like there's clothes that change, etc. It was a little bit kind of easier in some ways to keep track of where we were in the story than it is other times.
Yeah, that makes sense. The color red is all throughout this film. You're wearing this lovely red wig early on. Did you kind of find some of the character through the costuming, or how did that kind of impact you?
Yeah, I mean, I always find costume to be a really helpful piece of the puzzle when you're kind of figuring out a character. And before I even got to Portland, JT told me that he really wanted me to bleach my hair and cut it off. And so I did. And I had never done that before. And I was very scared to do that. And it was kind of like an immediate way of kind of like accessing a certain part of the character that was really helpful. I never changed my personal appearance um, in a way that wasn't able to be taken on or off in that way before. And that was that was a really interesting thing that JT really wanted me to do that I did do. Uh, and and I think it kind of like gave me a foundation for then having specific feelings and opinions that obviously I talked to JT about and our costume designer about certain like the underwear that I wear. I had a like really specific idea in my head of like what I wanted that underwear to be and that I wanted to kind of like be mismatched in this way. And JT had a very distinct vision for kind of what one of the other costumes was. And so I like did some internet trolling to kind of try and find it. So it was a very collaborative effort with like everyone having specific ideas that kind of like coalesced into this like, final amazing collaboration that we had.